GCSE chemistry lessons. In this video, we are looking at constructing chemical equations. In introduction, let us introduce what an equation is. An equation is a chemical sentence which describes what is happening in a chemical reaction. Therefore, by the end of this lesson, you will be able to construct word equations and turn these word equations into equations using symbols. General features of chemical equations. Chemical equations are generally composed of, number one, the reactants, which are normally written at the left-hand side of a chemical equation. Number two, the products, which are normally written at the right-hand side of a chemical equation. The plus sign on the left-hand side, which means react with. There is also a plus sign on the right-hand side, which means and. So please take note, there is a plus sign. When the plus sign is on the left side of the equation, it is going to mean react with. When the same plus is on the right-hand side of the equation, it is going to mean and. Now, someone might be wondering what the left-hand side is and the right-hand side is. In a short while, we're going to see this. So we are saying the equation also has an arrow. So the arrow between the reactants and the products means to form or to produce. Okay, to form or to produce. Let's look at the first example. We can have an equation where we are saying A plus B is equals to C plus D. So this side here, we have what we call the reactants. Then this side here, we have what we call the products. So this arrow here is the one that is dividing the equation into two sides. We have the left-hand side, okay, and the right-hand side. So the left-hand side is for the reactants and the right-hand side is for the products. And these sides are determined by the arrow. And as you've read, this arrow means to form, to produce. Then the plus, when it's on the left, it simply means reacts with. The same plus, when it's on the right-hand side, it simply means and. We also have another form of an equation. Another form of an equation is known as a decomposition, where we have one reactant separating into two or more products. So where we have one thing, it is going to react or to go through a certain process that is going to enable it to produce two things. In this instance, we have A that is able to produce B and C. So this one can be read as A decomposes into B and C. This first one here, it can be read as A reacts with B to produce C and D. Let's look at a practical example. Write down the word equations of each of the following reactions. So what we have in here are chemical sentences. So this is just a sentence. For example, it is saying magnesium metal reacts with oxygen gas to form magnesium oxide. Now, the first thing that you need to know is once you understand the various forms, the features of an equation, then it will be easier to write these word equations. First of all, you identify the key features. There is this word here, which is react with. So react with simply means a plus on the left side. Okay. To form simply means an arrow. Okay. To form simply means an arrow. So here they've said magnesium is reacting with oxygen. So this is magnesium plus oxygen is equals to magnesium oxide. So the word equation will simply be like this. Magnesium plus oxygen is equals to magnesium oxide. Let's look at B. B says iron 2 chloride solution and hydrogen gas are produced, okay, are produced. So we already know what is on the right-hand side. They've said iron 2 chloride and hydrogen gas are produced. So meaning these are the products and hence will be on the right-hand side. How are they produced? When iron reacts with. So again, we have seen the reacts with. And the fact that they've said reacts with means that those particular things are on the left-hand side. So when ion, so ion is on the left-hand side, reacts with, which will mean what? Plus, reacts with dilute acid. Then please take note, we are saying iron 2 chloride solution and hydrogen gas are produced. So since they are products, this and that is here is going to mean plus. So once you are able to figure this out, then it will be easier for you to write an equation which will be like this. Iron plus hydrochloric acid is equals to iron 2 chloride plus hydrogen gas. Iron reacts with chlorine to form iron 2 chloride. So let's see, iron reacts with, so reacts with means plus. So iron plus chlorine, then to form simply means an arrow. To form what? Iron 2 chloride. So there is only one thing here. So as a result, we are just going to write iron plus chlorine is equals to iron 2 chloride. Now let's look at how we can turn these word equations now into equations using symbols. Write down the word equations below using symbols. Now, in order for you to turn a word equation into an equation using symbols, there are two things that you are supposed to know. Number one, you are supposed to know the symbols of particular elements from the periodic table. You are supposed to know the formulas of radicals. You are also supposed to know how to construct formulas. If you don't know this, then you can pause this video and watch the other video in the same playlist about constructing chemical formulas and finding valencies. So the first one is we are trying to turn hydrogen and oxygen. So hydrogen plus oxygen equals to water. We write it into symbols. Now we know that hydrogen is diatomic. So we expect this one is going to be H2 because it's diatomic. And when you're writing this one in the equation, it has to be H2. So all diatomic elements such as hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and all the halogens, that is the group 7 elements, when you are writing them in the equation and only in the equation, you are supposed to write them with a subscript of 2 because they are diatomic. You go to oxygen also. When you check on the periodic table, oxygen will just be O, but the fact that it's diatomic is telling us that we should write it as O2. Then H2O, by now, any student who has done chemistry or science before should know that the formula of water is H2O. Hence, when you're writing this equation, you are going to come up with this one. H2 plus O2 is equals to H2O. And that will be your answer. Don't worry about the numbers that are in front. In the next video, we're going to talk about how we balance equations and you understand where these numbers are coming from. Let's also try to look at this one. Sodium plus water is equals to sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. So again, when you check for sodium on the periodic table, sodium is got the symbol Na. When you check for water, by now we know water is H2O. And then sodium hydroxide, we can turn it. Remember how to come up with formulas. You're just going to say sodium is Na with a valence of 1. Then hydroxide is OH with a valence of 1. You swap these two, you come up with NaOH. You come up with NaOH. So this is the formula. Then again, you meet the hydrogen. Hydrogen is diatomic, so it's going to be H2. As a result, your answer will be like this. Let's try this one. Okay, so this one was A, this one is B, this one is C. So this is calcium oxide plus hydrochloric acid is equals to that one. So again, calcium oxide, you are going to write your calcium with a valence of 2, your oxygen with a valence of 2. After swapping these two, the 2 will come there, the 2 will come there. So this is Ca, and then this is O. The 2 and 2 will cancel. As a result, the formula will be just be Ca and O. This one is our calcium oxide. So you found the formula. Then hydrochloric acid, by now everyone should know it. It's HCl. Then calcium chloride, again it's CaCl2. Then water is H2O. Now these things, we've looked at how to come up with formulas. So what we are saying is come up with a formula of this one. Come up with a formula of this one. come up with a formula of this one, come up with a formula of this one. If it's just one element mentioned, like the way it was sodium, just pick its symbol from the periodic table. That's all. So if you have forgotten about construction of formulas, please revisit the lesson right in this playlist. Okay, so this is how your answer would look like. Thank you.